Action. All right, we call to order the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the City of Easthampton. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. First thing, some administrative items. Request for a motion to approve the minutes for the May 1st meeting.
Can I move that we postpone that till next month so we get to really read them? They were just handed out tonight.
We can do that. That's fine.
Sure.
Okay, any other correspondences, requests from other committees or anything like that, Jamie?
Nope.
Probably not, because this is, okay. Is there anyone here looking to speak to the board regarding anything that is not on the agenda currently? Okay. So with that said, we will reopen the continued hearing from May 1st. Emmerich Singh seeking a special permit for change of use to the automotive service station with convenience market in accordance with Table 5-1, Retail and Service number 22, and Zoning Board Ordinance 12.7. Subject property is located at 317 Main Street in Zone Neighborhood Business. We're looking to continue.
So,
Sherry Reynolds.
can everyone receive the copies of the revised plans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, great.
Okay, so just following up on last meeting, there was concerns with the circulation and in terms of pedestrian access, vehicular access. And so we've tried to address those by basically, in terms of vehicular access, we've limited, we have kept this rear entrance, but we've limited to entrance only. And the reason being is really felt that it was not ideal to have people coming down Fleury Court and drive onto Main Street to come back in to the site. So if people are coming from this direction, it makes much more sense for them just to come in and park. Otherwise, the circulation is clockwise through the site. So the majority of the parking will end up happening over here. Well, we have some here, but what another benefit of this is because it is clockwise, the majority of the traffic coming out of the site is going to come out over here away from the intersection. So that's an additional benefit to that. Additionally, by having this here, it allows delivery trucks or anything else like that to come in through here and not be coming in and conflicting with pedestrian traffic and so on. So they can come in, do their deliveries and leave. Okay. Now, another concern was in terms of pedestrian access. There's no sidewalk on this side of the site. I spoke with engineering DPW, and they were in favor of us adding a sidewalk with a ramp on the far side that would come over to the front sidewalk of the site. Okay. The board here had talked about wanting to see additional plantings. So this has, a planting plan has been added to it with 3 trees here, short shrubs. These are all grasses less than 2 feet high, so they won't end up, resulting in an issue with site distance and, site interference here at the intersection. This has also been curbed to further delineate the island here.
Thank you.
And then continues to have an opening down here at the bottom. The other thing that got changed is this sidewalk here really wasn't working, so it was eliminated and put into basically a fire lane hatching will be painted on instead. Just due to the grades out here and egresses, it didn't make sense to have the sidewalk wrap all the way around. So the sidewalk just is going to be across the front of the site. And then a bike rack is proposed to be placed right here in the corner. That's pretty much it. Do you have any questions?
What did you do to address the snow removal or snow accumulation?
Snow is going to have to be handled on a storm-by-storm basis, likely be hauled off. There are some surplus, we can speak to parking. The parking required is 15 spaces. We've got a surplus, we've got 24 spaces on site. So they can afford to lose, a space or two at times.
I want to interrupt it, but I didn't see the parking calculation for the second floor use.
Yeah,
The parking calculation includes the second floor use.
Okay.
So there's 300 square feet of office space. That includes a 79 square foot office down below here, and then the 200 whatever upstairs.
So the upstairs is only the 300 square feet,
No, the
It's
upstairs is.
423 feet.
but the downstairs,
What have I got? I've got, for office
423.
space, I've got 309
Okay.
office space.
but if the convenience store is 1,000, that means it's not an entire second floor office. It's only.
No, it's a single room upstairs.
Oh, okay. It just
Yeah.
looks like
No,
it's
the
bigger.
majority of the upstairs is just one storage space.
And I only count 21 parking spaces, not 24. Do you count the spaces in front of the gas pumps
There-
as
Yes,
spaces?
these are, when you talk gas pump requirements, they're the spaces directly in front of the gas pumps.
And last week you talked about the upstairs tenant wanting sort of private parking, and that doesn't appear to be part of this plan.
Well, the intent is that these spaces, these 5 spaces are for the tenant upstairs. And he has actually, in his letter, I believe, he's
Yeah.
requesting that the signage be put for these spaces, and that's fine. The applicant would like to do that anyways.
Okay, and then the spot in the corner, you have it
That should be
shown.
hatched, it's not a spot.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at that, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
You gotta be
that-
talented if you can get out of there.
No, that's not, it's not a
Small
spot.
car, smart car.
Yeah, if you want to condition it, it should be hatched.
Okay. Alrighty, and is there gonna be the sign, the entrance and exit off of Main Street? They are gonna be both curb cuts will be entrance and exit?
Yes.
Neither one will be a dedicated entrance or exit?
No.
Okay.
No, the intent is that it will remain used the way it is currently. Because
Okay.
you have people that are going to come in and their pump happens to be on the left side, they're going to want to come here.
Okay.
And
And the arrows that you designate in the driving areas?
these are to be painted arrows on the
Okay.
pavement, along with the one-way do not enter painted here.
My thought, just human nature, would be that the one at the corner be closer to the corner and indicate corner. Yeah, up and to the right, because people, you can have all the
I
do
think
not,
that's-
no left
yeah.
turns, no, do not enter, not exit only,
I don't think that's an issue.
No,
To add a curve.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's fine.
It's paint lines, it's not a, we're not,
Yeah, no, that's a good thought.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read the letter that we did receive from Robert and Denyce Griggs. In that it was, because it pertains to what you just mentioned. Dear Jamie, thank you for your help in getting the plan to us for review. We will not be able to attend the meeting tonight. If you had a chance to review the revised plan for 317 Main Street dated 5/15/19 by Mary Reynolds by phone, would you please pass along to the board the following comments? Terry stated that the 5 parking spaces along the rear of the fence, west side, will be for Hampton wholesale auto exclusively. We are pleased with this, but would like to request that the 5 spaces be designated with signage that clarifies this exclusive usage to the general public. We hope the board effectively addresses the earlier concerns brought up by the ZBA meeting of 5/1 over an adequate snow removal and maintenance plan and its effect on parking. So, I think if you have, if you show that designated corner for small storm, that's where we're going to accumulate the snow. That works to a degree. I guess my question would be, and I know I think your first rendition did show topography. how does that affect?
There is topography.
Okay.
The site basically drains out like that.
Okay, so is there going to be a problem with snow melt freeze with storing snow in that back corner?
I do not believe so. That's where it's currently stored.
Okay.
That's where they've been storing it here and they've been storing it here.
Right.
So at this point, they're not going to be storing it here anymore. So
Okay.
you'll have very limited snow storage right here in the corner.
Okay.
And, you know, obviously, you're not going to want it to build up because then you'd be losing too many spaces. These are
I
the
agree.
prime parking spaces here.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay. That sounds good. Does the board have any other questions of Mr. Reynolds at this point?
I assume you said you met with engineering and public works about the sidewalk, so they're
Yeah.
aware of the curb cuts, and they've looked
Yes.
at the plan.
yes.
Okay.
Well, I assume they looked at the plan. I spoke with them before I drew it.
Yeah.
So, but this is designed to meet the state DOT standards. And so that would be the intent.
For Williston, that'll be good, because the students will.
Will this, where there's going to be a sidewalk access and handicap ramp at that location, will that require approval by the town engineer?
It requires a
Yes.
permit.
Requires a permit?
Yes.
Yeah, so anything that they're doing outside of their site on the public right of way requires a permit from the DPW.
Okay.
I spoke with the engineer, city engineer this morning, and he was happy with the layout shown with the crosswalks, double-sided signs indicating pedestrian crossing, accessible ramps on either side of the crosswalk. So he thought that was fine. And then before they go to construction, they'll have to get that actually permitted.
Okay.
From the DPW. They did have concerns about the plantings. They want to make sure that the permit conditions maintenance of the plantings that are being added. DPW doesn't want to be responsible for maintenance. So that was the only other comment that I heard.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. At this point, is there anyone from the public who'd be interested in asking any questions of the board?
No question, but I
Can you
like to speak.
Yeah.
Oh.
state your name and-
Hi, Landon Jenkins, 5 Florida Court. I would just like to restate our opposition to an entrance and exit from Florida Court. With the exception of emergencies and deliveries, by allowing an entrance and exit onto Florida Court, you are in essence going to congest that whole area. And it doesn't just affect us, it affects everyone behind us. We have a lot of seniors, we have people walking their dogs, kids with their bikes who are trying to get to the bike path. They cut through Florida Court a lot to avoid the intersection. And I just think that when we had little kids, our kids are older now, but we had at least a dozen kids there playing in the middle. We have seniors now who still live there. And they walk and they ride their bikes there. And someday they're gonna be gone. And they're gonna be new families there. And it's gonna be a bunch of kids there. So I'm just saying, I think it's going to just congest that whole area. And I wouldn't wanna reroute traffic onto Florida Court, because that's what you're doing, by allowing the entry and exit onto Florida Court.
There's only
It's only
an
an
entrance.
Or entrance.
Yeah, an entrance.
You're still gonna, you're pretty much rerouting traffic onto Florida Court.
Okay. All right.
That whole side is open now, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think this is an improvement over what's there now, because it's a designated curb cut.
It's gonna be more attractive, but still, it's gonna be congested.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna be congested. I mean, cars could actually park. The police probably won't like it, but on Fleury Court to to the south of that curb cut. I mean, you're adding parking spaces to the road on Fleury Court, on site.
Great.
That makes it even worse.
No, last month, people were talking about, there was a problem with cars parking. We're adding more,
No, what,
technically, people could park.
There's no.
our complaint was not that cars
There's a
park.
space.
Our complaint was that when people come visit us, there's cars parked on both sides, and it's narrow. So now you're talking about rerouting traffic through Fleury Court.
Well, cars go there today.
I think, my personal opinion is that if it's that crowded, people will avoid it. And people will go slow because it is that crowded. Okay, that's my, being of, people naturally pick the easiest route to do things. It's human nature. And I think that by having people parked on the street, it's gonna slow people down. Okay? And I think that, the parking situation, if it does become a greater issue, I think it may have to be addressed with police department. Okay. Okay. Yes?
Melinda Jenkins, 5 Fleury Court. I think you're right that people will take the easiest route, and they do that now to avoid that horrible four-way intersection. So we already do have people that cut through Fleury Court. And it would be nice if the cars slowed the traffic, but that's not always the case. The entrance there, when people, like even now for us, when we come home and we're coming down Main Street, there's people that are exiting the gas station at that far entrance exit. And it's like a game that we play, like we can't put our blinker on yet because they think we're turning into the gas station. They go to come out in front of us, but we're actually turning onto Fleury Court. So, and then the people behind us, if we don't put our signal on, they're almost slamming into the back of us.
I understand.
So that's already a problem. So people that are turning or can't, or see someone coming out of that exit and don't want to turn into it, and they want to go onto Fleury Court because they know there's an entrance there, I just think it's confusing and it makes that already bad problem worse. I do like the fact that, there's sidewalks and crosswalks. I think that helps a lot with that issue. But I still really just see a problem with that entrance being there, in terms of just confusion, traffic, everything else. And like you said, that people, if they can't get out one way or it's congested or Main Street looks really trafficy and busy, they're gonna say, oh, I might as well I'm just gonna cut out this way, no one's coming in. So I don't think the arrows are gonna have much impact on that personally.
And I think that it's gonna be the best, it's done with the best intent.
Right, understood.
Okay, and I hope that you understand that, and I applaud what you're saying. And I understand the dual road situation and things along those lines.
Yeah. And then my other question is, where is the dumpster?
The dumpster's here, and it'll be screened with a fence. So that there's currently the stockade fence here. It'll be extended out to screen the dumpster.
Okay.
I have a question. Haley Singleton, 325 Main Street. This might not be a zoning question, but I'm gonna ask it. Who maintains the property once this all goes into play? Because right now, all the staff there pick up trash all the time. Like, it's a very clean space. And I'm a little concerned with a convenience store opening, what that will look like for my property, which currently there's trash from the other places, just, and people throwing it out of their cars. But since my property borders this, I just want to know, like, who's maintaining.
Well, I would think as a business owner, the owner
Yeah,
would want people to come to his establishment.
sure.
Okay, and I think, thereby it behooves him, or, a business owner in general, to maintain their property.
Okay.
Most people don't want to go to a place that looks dilapidated and run down.
Yeah.
you know, judging by the plan that's been presented and the effort that's gone in to try to meet the requests of the local community, I would say that they are putting their best foot forward.
I would agree with that.
And I would, you know, and still, I think that you'll maintain your property, correct?
The intent with this also is, you know, this is going to be a step above the other area businesses. I mean, this is, the intent is, it's going to be, you know, marketed similar to, you see Dunkin' Donuts, Pride's, Cumberland Farms. They're coming in, and they're coming in with a really clean, nice presentation.
Correct.
And that's the intent of this.
Okay, so a question I do have, I know we addressed the lighting. What about, is there gonna be any exterior signage on the building? In other words, the southern face?
Nothing more than what's here currently.
Okay.
There's some letter signage right here that'll get changed to the convenience store name.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, but there's not gonna be a big,
No
you know,
neon signs.
Snapple out,
No,
neon
that would
signs
have to
or-
get permitted separately.
Okay, but I just, you know, I see a large face that faces Fleury Court, and I want to make sure that it's not going to be a
Yeah,
billboard.
Branded.
no, nothing like that's proposed at this time.
Okay, all right. I just, you know, I want to make sure that we've covered these things. You know, billboards are not allowed in town, but
Right.
people try to get around it with other things.
Yeah, no, the existing signage is the only thing that's going to be used.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak concerning the application? All right. At this point, we will close the public, what is it, public speak time? We will close that and we will discuss amongst ourselves.
So it seems to me like the biggest bone of contention is the entrance on Fleury Court.
Correct.
And if it should, you know, some of the neighbors sound, it seems like they want to maybe close it off. Perhaps another option would be, you know, deliveries only, or that other business, you know, entrance for deliveries, or whatever the automotive is only. I don't necessarily like the idea of closing it off. I think it's certainly for deliveries, and for the other business. It would be nice to just avoid all the other traffic and go in that entrance.
Can I speak to that?
If we ask you a question, you can. Right now, we're yeah. But we'll-
I think I agree with the applicant that traffic coming off of Fleury Court is the only one that's gonna go in there, because someone driving on Main Street, why would they go down Fleury Court and in there, other than the upstairs business?
Right.
Those 5 cars will probably go in the Fleury Court. But if you're on Main Street, where the majority of traffic is, you're gonna go in and out on Main Street.
I agree.
Because more than likely you are coming off of Main Street and continuing down Main Street.
Right.
Right. Human nature. All right. You know, I don't think it's necessary to put those tax strips that they have at the airport where you know.
I don't want to hear that in the middle of the
So, but I just, I think that is, yeah, I think the one part that does, and I know it's the current curb cuts they're existing, but I see with expanding from being just a gas station to being a gas station and convenience store, my concern is traffic flow of people. You come in here, all your traffic is exiting at this location. And if you have people who are trying to make a right-hand turn onto Main Street, and people who are trying to come in to get gas, I see that being a potential bottleneck.
But I think that's the way it is
No.
at a lot of gas. I mean, I buy my gas at Pride. And they've got curb cuts all over the place. You know, and sometimes you have to sit on Union Street before you can pull in. I mean, that's just
Right.
gas station traffic.
Well, and you have a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through there.
Right.
That doesn't help things at all.
Right. This
Okay.
does not have a drive-through.
No. Okay, so I wanted to, in looking at it, and you kind of say,
Yeah.
okay, if I was going to that store and I'm going to leave, you know, if I'm from there, if I'm going home, how do I get out of there?
But exiting out of that corner is better than exiting out of the closer corner to Fleury Court because of the congestion.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I think that, you know, there is ample signage to indicate the direction of flow, and
Okay.
so along those lines.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there any other questions or thoughts that we have amongst the board?
Oh, I like the, you know, this, instead of just having that open there.
Oh, yeah,
I think that'll be-
it's definitely an improvement
Yeah.
in that respect.
And does someone go out and make certain, like, that the do not enter signs and the arrow painting are done before they get a CO? Is that the building
That
official's
is the
job?
building inspector, the code enforcement inspector. Something else to think about is it worth putting or asking the town engineer about a no parking here to corner or no limiting parking on Fleury Court?
So city council, public safety, the public safety subcommittee
Yep.
deals with traffic rules and order and no parking on certain sides of streets and,
Okay, so that's who addresses that?
yes,
Okay.
so,
And neighbors might
you know,
like to
so
park there.
Well, I understand, but for view
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
corner turning, if you're coming
Oh, yeah,
down
yeah.
Fleury Court,
No
looking
parking
to
here at the
make,
corner.
exactly,
Yeah.
looking to make a turn and be able to see.
right, so if, I mean, so there's already rules about how close to a street corner and how close to a crosswalk you can park.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be signage that could be put in, or, you know, striping on the street or something like that.
But that's all addressed through that subcommittee.
If it's outside of what's already existing. So, and I don't know that off the top of my head what those, how close you can park to a corner. I wanna say it's like 30 feet.
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah, it's been a while since I've taken my driver's test.
So if there were people who were parking there and blocking that sight line, then that's, you know, calling up the city councilor or police and saying that we need a sign here that says no parking from here to corner. You know, and that's sort of outside of, I think, what the it's public safety and.
That's a public safety and public right of way.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or concerns from the board? Okay.
Can I have you discuss conditions before we go into anything else? Unless you have questions that were,
Well, and we, I guess we had the discussion at our last meeting, correct? Concerning some of those conditions?
right, so I just want to make sure that they're discussed, that those conditions that were talked about the last meeting are still applicable and that new conditions are added, so that they're all,
Mhm.
you know, that we're all on the same page of what's.
Right. Okay. Those conditions on this?
I
Were they in the
think,
meeting?
but I think the no pole lighting signage as per the discussion, no extra signage on the building.
There is,
Oh, hours 6 to 10, there are two conditions here. On the, near the bottom of
Yeah, remove snow.
page 5. But there should be,
Okay. Conditions. Snow removal, yeah. So you have snow removal, remove all snow from site, no storage allowed on site. There is a dedicated, we'll call it 10 foot by 20 foot, so 200 square feet of snow storage in that corner. So that is the only place for snow storage.
And excess snow has to be moved from site.
Is this a spot in the lower left-hand, I have a question, Terry.
Yeah.
Is this a spot in the lower left-hand corner?
Parking spot?
Yeah.
Yes.
I see somebody's back end getting wiped out in there.
From where?
Somebody coming, finishes
I mean,
fueling.
they'd have to really swing wide.
Yeah, but I'm saying somebody's finished fueling, they're going south. They finish fueling, they go to pull out, and somebody else is coming, so they, I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be pretty hard to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to say though, as far as snow storage, there is an excess of spaces. They could sacrifice some spaces if need be.
Okay. Well, I think that.
I'm just saying limiting them to 200 square feet seems bit much.
And I would think the property owner wouldn't like to fill up the parking lot with snow because he's not gonna have a place for his customers.
No, I mean,
So it's gonna be
it's
to his
sort of
advantage.
self-managing. I mean, if you fill the whole thing up, yeah, nobody can park.
Mhm.
So.
The dumpster location and enclosure, is it required to be enclosed? I don't know what the dumpster,
I think it's required to be screened and they're putting stockade fencing on two sides.
on two sides, is that screened?
That's, to me, a screen. You have to be on the property to see it. But Jamie can find it quicker, so I'll let Jamie find it.
I don't know that we have, I know I've seen it, but I don't know where it is now.
Hmm.
Generally, we don't allow like accessory structures and things in the front setback. But it's a dumpster, it's not a structure.
Okay. I just wasn't certain if there was requirements on enclosure.
Fencing's limited in height in those areas to like 4 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're proposing to screen a dumpster, they're not screening.
They're only going up 4 feet
You can only
anyway.
go 4 feet in that location.
And that's a dumpster. I'll screen it.
Okay. The other thing the other condition is that the plants that are indicated, I'm going in good faith that the plants you've indicated on that corner won't exceed 2 feet in height.
They're specified as the landscape architect designed it.
Okay.
So I said, he told me they're all less than 2 feet.
Okay.
So. I have to go with what he did.
Likewise. There has to be a certain amount of faith and trust there.
Right, not all the names and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're going as far as naming the plants that you're looking to put there, and that the trees will be maintained along the property.
Well, that should be a condition.
And
that
that's,
the
well,
Property owner.
and, yeah. So the condition is that the property owner will maintain the trees and the new vegetation that is proposed on the site.
And
Existing.
adjacent to the site, because it's on Fleury Court. The plantings are on public property, correct?
No, I don't think they can be. I think they're his property.
That's all
No,
part,
what
No,
the city's, what DPW asked is that the property owners be responsible for the plantings
Right.
proposed.
yes,
So if you condition it that way.
yes.
I mean, that's standard.
Mhm.
with-
Right.
I just want to make sure we cover
But
it.
it is public, it is in the public right of way.
Yeah,
And so so the property owners.
yeah, but the property owner will maintain them.
Yes.
Then there's the designation of the 5 parking spots that, I
Yes.
don't know if that can be,
Um,
should be a condition.
Yeah, the request from Hampton Wholesale Auto, that 5 spots have a,
Non-illuminated sign.
yeah, exclusive usage, not for public parking. Now, I guess my question is, they said that their hours of operation were typically 7 to 4.
I believe so, yeah.
I think that, the sign can say, reserve parking from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Which is
or,
just reserved.
Yeah,
for-
just-
They're just gonna be reserved parking.
okay, okay. I just, if people come at night and they need a place to park,
Well, but the owner on the second floor said he occasionally has cars that are stored there overnight. So he needs those
okay,
parking there. That's-
then that's
Well,
fine.
most people aren't gonna want to park in the back, and walk all the way back around the front to come in, so.
True.
Depends how bad you need a gallon dumpster.
Uh, Or better do that, and get a 6-pack.
That's, you never know. All right. Any other conditions that we discussed that we've not addressed in
The
this?
signs, I just think there should be something in there about non-illuminated. The building can't have additional signage other than the name of the convenience store in the front of the building. And I'm assuming there's gonna be gas pump signs.
Well, all the existing signs are intended to remain.
Okay, the gas
Right,
signs.
because if they want to change any of the existing signs,
Right.
they're going to be back in front of us, and they have
Okay.
not asked for that in this
All right,
in this
okay, I just wanna make
application.
sure that they're,
And the sign
Signage
ordinance
is
is
limited.
pretty, it's pretty much laid out, pretty clear. Okay, so
okay.
I have faith there.
And no additional light poles.
There
Which is-
aren't any proposed.
Yeah.
I'll
There are
just
no
go away.
proposed.
Right.
Right. Okay. Anything else, Tony?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. So now can we go ahead and go through the special permit criteria approval? Jimmy? Okay. The section 12.7, which is the actual application for the special permit, has 14 or so items that we have to cover. Conformance with the provisions of the ordinance of the City of Easthampton, general bylaws of the state of Massachusetts, and all applicable rules and regulations of state and federal agencies. So the gas pumps are covered under a separate license and inspection and everything like that. That, we don't cover any of that. That is somebody else's requirement, and
Right.
DEP and everything like
All
that.
individual permitting for food and everything else is
Correct. Okay.
elsewhere.
Yep. The same thing with if they're gonna sell beer and alcohol.
That's a separate permit.
That's a separate permit. Okay. Protection of city amenities and abutting properties through the minimization of any detrimental or offensive uses or destruction of unique or important natural, scenic, or historic features on the site. Well, I think an effort is being made to improve the offensiveness. A minimization of traffic and safety impacts of the proposed development on adjacent highways or roads, and maximizes the convenience and safety of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site. I think that has been addressed. We covered most of that in the last meeting and has now been.
I think closing off most of Fleury Court is good for traffic.
I agree completely. Adequacy of the methods of disposal of sewage and refuse and the drainage of surface and subsurface water. Well, whereas the entire site is currently impervious, the addition of the grass along the southern side will help with that. And there is a cut to allow for water to drain into the catch basin on Fleury Court,
Yeah,
correct?
I'm actually gonna move the cut down a little to the south.
Okay. All right. Does that get it closer to the catch basin?
Yeah, but right now, I just noticed it as it's doing this, it should be right here.
Okay. All right. Adequate means of protecting wetlands, watersheds, aquifers, and well areas. Is this in the Barnes Aquifer overlay area? I don't have that map up anymore.
No, I don't believe so.
But there again,
There's no
that's,
discharge.
But there's so
there's no discharge, so that's not of concern.
Right.
It's really not applicable.
Right. So let's go E is non-applicable. Okay, mitigation of adverse impacts of city resources, including the effects of the city water supply and distribution system, sewage collection and treatment system, fire protection, and streets. That's, if anything, we're getting an improvement, so E is non-applicable. G, provisions for the off-street loading and unloading of vehicles incidental to the normal operation of the establishment, parking, lighting, and internal traffic control. I believe that's covered all in the applicant's site plan and any conditions that we put thereupon. H, applicant's efforts to integrate the development into the existing landscape through design features such as vegetative buffers and retention of open space or agricultural land. There again, the addition of that greenway there has helped a little. It has helped in there. I, minimization of the area over which existing vegetation is to be removed, where tree removal is required. Special attention is given to the planting of replacement trees. Non-applicable because we're actually removing impervious surface and adding vegetative. J, the consistency of the development with respect to setbacks, area, placement of parking, architectural style, and landscaping of the surrounding buildings and development. It's a pre-existing structure. Non-applicable. K, adequacy of the measures to prevent pollution of surface or groundwater, to minimize erosion and sediment, and to minimize changes in groundwater levels, increased runoff or potential for flood. It's, there again, existing non-pervious, and we're adding some permeability. L, adequacy of the methods to ensure that the use will be not constitute a nuisance by reason of unacceptable level of air or water pollution, excessive noise, or visually flagrant structures and accessories. It's a pre-existing structure, it's pre-existing use. We're just changing the use by adding the convenience store. Okay. Any other questions, thoughts, or concerns? Okay. Can we entertain a motion concerning this?
I move that we approve a special permit for Amrit Singh for a change of use to from automobile service station to service station with convenience market at 317 Main Street, subject to the conditions that John put forth.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, at this point, we'll go ahead and write up the decision, at which point the decision will be sent to the city clerk. City clerk will stamp it. At that point, there is a 20-day review period. After that review period, you'll be notified, you will get and you can go and you can get it registered with the Register of Deeds in Hampshire County, and then you can go ahead and pull your permit. Things you need to do.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, thank you all, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, one more agenda item, do you want to talk about it any further? I just carried it over from the previous
Yeah,
meeting. I don't know, up to you if you want to.
yeah, something I thought about, and I think this actually.
Close the door.
Thank you, Terry.
Yep.
I think that this was probably we had a very engaged and dynamic conversation with this one. And it was nice to see everybody's involvement and everything like that. I don't know how we can, it's tough because every applicant is different and every application is different. But I think it's important that we make sure everybody's voice is heard, and I don't know how we can foster that. Sometimes I feel I sit here and talk a lot.
Get more complicated applications. That's why people get involved. I mean, this was complicated.
It was complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Over
Well, I mean, it's something
two different
physical,
meetings.
easy to see and see what the issues are.
Yeah. No,
I think it depends on the applicant.
yeah. So but I enjoyed the conversation and the dynamic of which we went. So it was good. So, do we have any applicants for coming up?
Nothing submitted as of yet. The deadline is next Wednesday or a week from
The
Wednesday?
deadline is Wednesday, June 5th.
So 2 weeks from
2 weeks, so we have a
All
long
right.
ways to go.
So
Drum roll, please.
we may get a couple things. There's been some talk, but people are,
Talk is cheap.
yeah, exactly. And ZBA applications are expensive, so.
Mm.
So other than getting more complicated projects,
Okay. All right. So our next meeting is Wednesday, June 26th. Is that on everybody's calendar? I will do the honors of checking. Make sure I have mine on. June 26th. Drum roll, please.
at 6 p.m.
Yep. Okay. So Wednesday, June 6th, 6 p.m. is our next meeting?
I thought that we were going to cancel a meeting,
Yes.
July, you were talking.
July.
July.
Yeah, and then we're having an early August meeting.
That's right, August 14th. I've
Yeah.
got it. I've got it, okay.
So I'm gonna put a note at the bottom of the minutes of the July meeting is canceled. I don't know, it's been on our thing. August. August 14th, which is early. It's not the fourth Wednesday, it's gonna be the 14th. The
Second.
second Wednesday.
Correct. Yep. All right. All right. That's what we do. Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
We're adjourned.
Turn off the camera, please.